Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Playing hockey with Steve W.G. Dangle.
Hey, have you ever wanted to play hockey and feel really good about yourself?
Well, this is the opportunity for you. Boy, how about this? You'll feel good and bad about yourself at the same time because compared to Steve, you'll be great. Compared to Matt Sundin and Brian Berard and Jeff O'Neill and other former Leafs.
Gary Roberts,
Todd Warner, Freddie Modine.
Others.
All those guys, they're all going to be there. LeoVegas.net is where you need to go. Specifically, LeoVegas.net/promotions. But basically, it's the Matt Sundin VIP Invitational. If you want to be there, you got to enter, and you got to enter soon because it's April 12th and 13th weekend. You're going to get to stay at the hotel, the Delta Hotel downtown. You're going to hang out with Matt Sundin and all the VIP guys on a Friday night party. It's super cool. Just go and check it out. You got to be 19 plus, by the way. And hey, if you stink at hockey and you don't want to play, you can always, hand the hockey over to your friend. So, because you get to bring a friend, which is kind of neat too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Adam, does it hurt your feelings that Jesse doesn't like the cookie that you brought him?
Adam,
You don't like the paleo cookie I brought?
It's kind of garbage.
Oh, I'll eat it. Do you want it? You don't want it? Or do you,
like
no,
a
give it to
weird-
Steve.
It's like a weird salty taste.
Well, yeah, it's salty and dark chocolate.
Oh
Okay,
God, it doesn't taste good.
It's paleo.
No.
It's like I'm making out with you right now.
Man, I
No.
love that. Those cookies are sex. I can't believe that he doesn't like that. Wow.
Yo, those cookies are taste.
Bro, these cookies are mad taste. So, unlike the highly organized LeoVegas.net situation, Steve Dangle's book launch has gone the way you would expect a Steve Dangle book launch to go. There's lots of exciting and things, but you don't have the answers to many of them.
But this is exactly on brand.
This is on brand.
What were we expecting? Everything to go perfectly and Steve not to get upset?
No, that's
Everything about it is on brand. There's chaos.
Mm-hmm.
People have discovered a typo on literally the first page.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yep. Which I hope will be fixed for the third print.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, Dangle Navy, let's talk. Because I owe you some answers. So, this has been a frustrating 24 hours. Because I wrote the book. But
we missed that part.
Yeah. Wrote the book. Don't know if I mentioned that. But customer service ain't exactly my forte.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been so many things, so many questions people have tweeted at me where I'm like, that's a fantastic question that I don't have the answer to. So let me ask. So I got a bunch of answers for you. I'll try to sort through them as neatly as I know how. So a bunch of you ordered on Amazon.ca. And it said, your order's been canceled. I've been told that's a glitch.
Mm.
And
So people who order don't need a reorder. Your order has not been canceled despite what Amazon tells you.
that,
It's still on the way.
to my knowledge, that is the case.
Okay.
So then I tweeted that and let people know. Then people go, well, actually, it seems to be an issue on .com and .uk and also the chapter's website and also Barnes & Noble.
So everywhere your book is available, if you get a notice that it's been canceled, it has not, and you will still get it.
Maybe.
No. So some people said canceled. Other people had said the book will be there in 1 to 2 months.
Ah.
And those people were like, actually, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what the hell is going on. You're so amazing and ridiculous that you cleaned them out of books. You literally cleaned out the first print. Here's the good news. The second print of twice as many books arrived yesterday. And they are frantically giving it to everybody. They're sending the book to Indigo stores, wherever Indigo keeps the book, to ship them to people online, to Barnes & Noble, to the Amazon just warehouse, and they're just going to ship them all over the world.
Jeff Bezos himself.
Jeff Bezos himself.
He's taking time off his lawsuit against the National Enquirer
Yes.
for the text messages he shared with his girlfriend that his girlfriend's brother sold to the National Enquirer
Yes.
for $200,000. That's a real story.
And what was the picture of, Adam?
I think it was of his penis.
It was of a little Jeff Bezos.
Ah, it was
Well, I can tell you my publisher's going to love
Bezos. Bezos, as we know it.
this. Oh, you see. Because,
right?
So anyway,
Come on.
they're frantically trying to get it out. I've been told, realistically, rather than 1 to 2 months, within 2 weeks.
Okay.
That's what I've been told.
What about audiobook?
The audio. So about that.
Because here was my plan. Can I just say this?
Yeah.
Everybody's gone to the store and like picked out the book. I was waiting for the audiobook to come out to be like, hey, I finally got the audiobook because I'm the audiobook guy, and I, was gonna do a nice post and everything. But instead, on Friday night, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just buy the digital copy. I'm gonna try to read it. I'm not great with just sitting there and reading stuff, and I was also super high on cold meds all weekend because I was really sick. But I'm a little, I have to tell you, I'm a little frustrated. I would really like that to come out right now.
When was the audiobook supposed to come out?
Yesterday.
What was yesterday? A
Looked
day
like-
that already passed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not here.
It's true.
So the answer I've been given as to when will the audiobook come out is either next week or like potentially a little less than a month from now, which is obviously two extraordinarily different things. And I'm frustrated, but the second the audiobook comes out, I won't keep it a secret. I promise.
And that's the month issue is if you have to re-record some parts, which they're not sure about yet.
Yes, they're not sure about yet. So hopefully we don't have to re-record any parts, and it'll be up next week. Hopefully March 29th. That's what I would really love to happen. After yesterday.
So my birthday's on the 13th.
Nah.
Jesse, yours is a few days before. Whose birthday is it closer to when that audiobook comes out? Is it yours or mine? What do you think?
I think we should root for Steve and root that it comes out next week.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm not gonna root against his book.
Well,
I might.
You might.
So, here. So, like, verbatim.
Here we go.
1 to 2 months before delivery is incorrect. Under Adam's cough. Right. 1 to 2 months before delivery is incorrect. So, basically, the computers only know the information that the computers have. Yeah. So, once they get new books in their stock...
That changes.
It will obviously change.
Yeah.
And they will get new books in their stock very, very soon, if they haven't already. So, there's that. If you contact ECW Press and you have proof of purchase... you can get a free e-copy of the book. So that's neat. ECW Press, I know, has several dozen books left if you want to get the book through them. McNallyRobinson.com also has the book in stock if you want to order through them. What else? Costco. Costco had the book, and they didn't start selling it until the day the book came out.
Get out of town.
Crazy, right? So Costco's throughout Ontario, at least a couple dozen locations, have a bunch of the book. So if you want to go to Costco and get the book, that's wonderful.
Is your book cheaper at Costco? Because things are usually...
Yes.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $11.
Nice.
Oh, save a whole $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what's it?
No, it's regular. It's $19.95.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I think I only paid $11 for the digital copy on iTunes.
Well, there you go. Oh, also, yeah, e-copy is available, everywhere.
Which I would recommend.
Yeah.
Not only does it save the trees, but it saves the trees.
And
you
Steve
assholes.
will sign your phone.
Yeah.
Or your Kobo. Or your Amazon Kindle.
Yeah.
Or I'll take a picture of you.
But not of him with you.
No.
Yes,
No. Is that it? Is that all you needed to hit?
I
or-
think that's it. I don't know. I want to do right by people, obviously, and everyone likes you for free. And I don't, now that people are paying for something, and I mean, if I ordered something 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago, and I didn't have it by now, I'd be a little upset too.
I don't know
So,
that you
I
would,
get
because
it.
I think you would have forgotten about it. I mean, knowing
I
you.
won't let people forget about it is the problem.
Yeah, like I feel like that would be something that would not make it past week 2 in your memory.
No. God, no.
One thing I would be a little upset about is if, let's say you pre-order NHL 19, or NHL 20, and then it comes out September 12th. Everybody on September 12th has the game. They say, hey, you who pre-ordered it a couple months ago have to wait an extra week to get it.
Yeah.
I'd be a little annoyed.
That would bother me.
But the people who just ran to the store the day of, they got it before me
Right.
than the person who pre-ordered it.
And
But what will be less frustrating is, is reading the book versus actually playing the game with fools online who don't pass the puck, right?
Yes.
I mean, if they would just effing pass the puck to the point, it wouldn't be this hard.
You know what I thought you would say? You know what would be less frustrating? A hot, fresh pan of
No, I wasn't going to that.
Yeah.
No. Just call back to the last episode.
I'm so tired and frustrated.
No, listen, I get that. I totally get that.
So, everyone who tweeted me yesterday and sent me messages, got a bunch on Instagram as well. I sent lots of emails to try to make sure your voice is heard. In the meantime, it's a bit of a waste of time tweeting me on account of I don't have any distribution power.
Yeah, you don't write books.
Right. So whoever you bought it from, if you don't have it yet and you're frustrated about that, I would say contact the company you bought it from, and they should be able to give you some answers.
And I would also say this. Any of the issues that have occurred are definitely not Steve's problems. Fault. I mean, they're his problems, but they're not his fault.
Yeah.
And so you
but
gotta
I care, right?
Yeah, you do care, and I respect that you care, and I love that and that sort of thing. But like, try to keep that in mind that this is a brand new venture. This is something Steve's never done before.
Most people were like, "This is bullshit," but no, Steve, it's fine.
Yeah.
But
It's also a book.
no, but like I want people to have it. I want people to have what they paid for.
And
But
they
this
deserve
isn't
that.
the biggest problem in anybody's day. So,
And if it is, that's wonderful. No,
if it is, yeah, you're doing great in your life.
you could be sick like Adam Wilde,
Yeah, you
and
could.
the rest
Again.
of the Greater Toronto area, including the Toronto Maple Leafs.
When you tweeted out yesterday that I was sick, someone was like, "Is he always sick?"
Yes.
And it has felt like that
Yes.
lately. That's twice in the last 3 weeks. I don't know what the hell's going on.
You don't sleep.
Well, I do sleep. We sleep. You sleep.
I don't know if you sleep.
I sleep.
All right.
I
We'll see.
Why'd you look at Jesse
We'll
like
see,
he
we'll
lives
see
with
if
you?
you get sleep in another week. You know? We'll see if you're sick again.
Everyone, I'm telling you, it's disgusting. Oil of oregano.
Oh, I can't.
Dilute it in like a shot glass of water. Don't get it on your skin. Don't get it on your lips. It'll burn. But it works.
And
it's
this
napalm
segment-
for germs. It's unreal.
This segment has been brought to you by an old Italian mother.
Do you want to smell like a pizza and also kill the common cold?
And hate everything for several minutes? Oil of oregano.
It depends on whether or not you got it on your lips. Then you'll hate it for several minutes. If you didn't, you'll be fine.
Well, so here's the thing. I was looking forward to the book talk because at least I thought, we could have some fun. Oh, it rolled out kind of like, Steve rolls things out. It's funny, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the good news, like, so for this publisher, like 3 prints ordered
Yeah, it's amazing.
before the release date. They're like, this
This is because
never happens.
This is because of success.
Yeah.
So this is not a bad thing.
It's because of them. It's because of freaking Diane
Yeah, it's
Navy
because
and how unbelievable they are.
people that listen to the show and watch the videos and that sort of thing are pretty freaking special. We know that.
Yeah.
What I was not looking forward to, that we do have to talk about,
Leafs talk.
is the Leafs. I have no interest. I don't want to talk about the Leafs, but we must.
So when was our last show? Thursday.
Friday.
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 Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what we've missed then is the Sens game.
Yeah, but we had the Goofy Flyers game too.
Did we miss the Goofy
The
Flyers?
Goofy Flyers game was that Friday night because I was
back to backs.
I was at Scotiabank.
Yeah.
Oh.
We missed 3 games.
Yeah.
Or 3 games have happened.
So yeah, you were at Scotiabank for the Flyers game.
Yes.
Oh, so we missed. Oh my god.
And I met some Dangle Navy members there who were like, "Wait, are you still at 50-50?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing a story on the 50-50 now."
Yeah. And you're why they all got sick and why Martin Marincin was out of the lineup last night. Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
Give us
I know.
another one, Adam.
Did
Give
you
us
sell
another
it?
one.
Like for
Oh yeah,
video?
they taught me how to use the machine, dude. The 50-50 crew. First
Can we
off,
hear about this?
this is the coolest
Can we do
thing.
nothing on this?
So the 50. This is gonna be the happiest Leafs talk you're gonna get this episode, by the way. The 50-50 crew there are passionate. They are serious about their gig.
MLSE doesn't mess around.
No, you don't work there unless you're.
Yeah, everyone's
Rah,
like
rah, rah.
hand-picked. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, like, to give you an idea, doing for Leafs TV, or maybe Leafs Nation Network, I keep calling it Leafs TV, Leafs Nation Network, which used to be Leafs TV, it took me a year to get in there. Like an entire year of talking to them.
Even the security to like wave you through the line is enthusiastic.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows that guy. He runs around with a megaphone, literally shouting at people. And then during the game, he's dancing
Yeah.
in between the aisles, and he's up in the jumbotron.
Oh, he's the
He's
best.
a maniac. I'd love to meet that guy.
Yeah, so the cool thing about it was they launched on Friday. the ability to, and if you have the Maple Leafs app, you can do this, and this is a total shameless plug, but it will send out at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, hey, 50/50's open. And you can buy 50/50 from anywhere.
Even if you're not at the game?
Yeah, so if you're in Ontario, you can buy 50/50. So if you're at home, you can enter every game's 50/50 from now on, which is neat.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're sitting on your couch, you can participate in 50/50.
Yeah.
Well, you sold me.
Yeah, so that was...
What? I didn't know you could do that. Okay.
Before the gate had even opened, we were at like $7,000 in prize money.
Wow.
That's before the gate starts.
What is this, Saskatchewan?
I know, right? Crazy. So they had me like using the machines and printing off the tickets and telling people when the draw was and that sort of thing. And people would come up and be like, "Hey, I know you love the podcast. Woo! Yeah, Flyers suck." You know, like whatever. And which was awesome. And just understand, like the 50/50 people. First off, you got to have a cannon of a voice. So I had a few of them. And one woman, we did her shots in a box seat. Nobody was in the arena. And when I'm interviewing her about this, and she had started during the World Junior Championships she had volunteered to do 50/50.
Okay.
So imagine she volunteers for
2016?
2015 or 2016, whatever it was, in the ACC.
Yeah.
It was Toronto Montreal that year.
Yeah, there was also another one years ago. Victor Hedman and John Tavares.
No, that would have been too long.
Oh,
This was the 2015 one. She said 2015. Anyway, so she's like, I'm like, so wait, got you the job? And then she goes, 50/50 tickets, and it was so ear-splittingly loud.
Oh, wow.
And this woman might have been 4.5 feet tall.
Of course.
And I can't wait to show you the feature because it like you could hear it rattle off like the seats in the arena. It was crazy.
How long did you
really
hear
cool.
it?
Like several seconds afterwards. It was crazy. So it was like, it's just kind of cool to get, and that's what's so fun about this series is that it's cool to get the other side of things. Like, you know, when I was down on the ice with the ice crew, you know, they were like, hey, how deep do you think the ice is? I'm like, I don't know, 1.5 feet, something like that. And he's like, no, it's like 2 inches.
Wow.
The ice is like 2 inches deep. That's it. And that's because they don't need it to be anything more than that. You're not going to dig down that far.
Right.
And they helped me. They let me drill into the ice and put the pegs in, and like it was cool.
Oh, so you're why the net came off.
No, I am not.
You're why the net came off.
That was weeks ago. No, I am not that reason.
One of the coolest things is when you can see the ice outside of the basketball courts, so on Raptors games. You like see it on the sides, the carpet comes off a little. Yeah,
and it's just there?
Yeah, it's just there. It's like, oh, there's a bunch of ice under that.
Yeah.
So wait, how does that? So they
just cover it with
they put the floor on top of the ice.
Yeah. So they put the
what?
Yeah, they don't melt the ice
No,
ever.
it's there. It's just there.
Yeah. So they put rubber on top of it because the rubber insulates it and keeps it cold, and then they put the wood on top of it.
I did not know that.
Have you never seen the conversion thing happen? Like but
I don't pay attention.
Yeah. So it's like big rubber puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
That's bananas. Wow. I did not know that. That's really cool.
And they've said like this arena was not made for hockey. This is a basketball arena. So
isn't that bizarre?
It's crazy. So they all the stuff that happened there when they put the Zamboni equipment in, because it's pretty big, right? The ice equipment's a lot. They had to kind of like squish it in and get creative because it wasn't planned for. It wasn't made to be that way. They had to
blow out. They had to make those seats retractable.
Yes,
right? Because the arena would have been a few feet, I guess, a couple of feet inwards, right?
Yes.
Because the basketball court's so much smaller, so they have to make those seats come backwards with the ice.
Exactly.
So
it's nuts.
Yeah. January, U2 wants to come to town and do 4 shows. They do it on top of ice.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they do.
Well, they're on top of a floor, it's just that you go under a couple inches, there's ice.
I mean, still.
Yeah, it's still pretty nuts, right?
Yeah.
Well, considering how like a band like U2 or Coldplay, you know, the big stage bands, how heavy those stages would be. Yeah, it's right on top of the ice.
That's unbelievable.
Cool.
Wow,
cool
and
stuff.
also support like Zdeno Chara.
Yeah, well, and his big sweeping stick. So, I mean, I guess, so we start, if we're talking Leafs, we start Friday, which was fun to watch, but it extended the pit in my stomach that I'd had all week about the Leafs, which, you know, at the end of the week after the Sens game, it was 24 goals, and add 3 more. So in their last 5 games, that's 27 goals against.
Yeah.
And most of that's Freddie. I know Garrett
Almost
Sparks,
all.
I know Garrett Sparks started one of those games, and he filled in on a couple. But, I mean,
Freddie
was yanked twice in a row.
2 of them. Yeah, twice in a row, and then Babs left him in a game where he allowed 6.
Yeah.
He allowed 5. They were down 5-2 to the Flyers. They get up 7-5, and he allows another one. Last night he looked Freddie again.
Yes.
I will say. His save percentage wasn't sparkling. But I would say the Leafs did a really good job of limiting Nashville's shots, but Nashville had 4 sure goal chances, pretty much. And they only converted on 2 of them.
Yep.
So I guess that's good. Freddie stopped one. Another was a post, shorthanded from Ryan Johansson. But it's the way things... It's the order in which things happen. So the Leafs have played how many bad games in a row? Forget wins and losses. The Flyers game was a bad game.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, like, I think even in the video today, I said the Leafs have lost 4 straight. They haven't. It just feels that way. Last night was, I would say, their best game since whatever the game before the Tampa one was.
I can't even remember what that would have been.
Me neither.
I'll tell you.
Ancient history. It's in the past. It might have... Nope,
I don't even remember that game being particularly...
Chicago, and they lost 5-4. Tampa, they lose 6-2. They beat Edmonton 3-2 Saturday night on March 9th.
And even then, Edmonton, they were up 3-0. And
they were good till the last 2 minutes, but it is that.
That was a great game. It was just the last minute they seemed like they just kind of stopped trying for 30 seconds.
So what's that?
They were fine.
And the game before that, they surrender a third period lead in a loss for the first time all season.
Yeah.
And the game before that, they shit-kicked Calgary.
Yes, 6-2.
But the big difference in that game was Freddie was spectacular. Rittich allowed everything past him.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the game before that?
Buffalo 5-2 Saturday night.
So their last truly front-to-back solid hockey game, I would say, was the Tavares ovation night.
I think you have to give it to that game against Edmonton as well.
Ooh.
Yeah,
it was a good game, but it's also Edmonton.
It was a really good game, and then
relied pretty heavily on Freddie.
2 goals in the last 30 seconds.
And Edmonton at that point, too, still thought they could make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So, despite everybody saying, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
since November.
Yeah.
I think it could be injuries catching up with them. It could be
could it be PDO?
Could be PDO, absolutely.
Take PDO for $100 out.
Yeah, they've had a really high shooting percentage / save percentage, and it's crashing back down to earth. Could be the lingering flu, because Hyman missed the morning skate. I want to say it was the Tampa game.
Mm-hmm.
And Marincin missed last night, and he's going to miss tonight as well. So, I mean, if it's one guy, it's at least half of them. To varying degrees, right?
Yeah, because, what hit me hard.
Yeah.
What hit you is it's okay, it's manageable.
Yeah, but also it's sort of sapped my energy. And I'm not exaggerating. The greater Toronto area is sick. So have fun with that, Nashville. It's a shame that the Leafs travel so well. For everyone who was infected by a Leafs fan, oil of oregano.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that Wayne Simmons with your goal last night. Of course, Wayne Simmons had to score.
Oh, my God.
He had to score.
Mike Stevens needs to shut his mouth. Because he keeps jinxing these things. He predicted the JVR hat trick and when he would score it. And he predicted Wayne Simmons scoring.
Wow.
Wayne Simmons did not have a goal with the Predators.
Mike's right, though. Had to come against the Leafs.
Had to.
Was the Flyers game on Friday not one of the best games you've seen all season in a long time?
So much fun.
From a fan's perspective, that's probably my favorite game I've watched in a while.
So, now comes the conversation of the difference between a fun game and a good game. Mm-hmm. Right? Oh, it was so fun, and what I loved about that was the Leafs are down, it was either 5-2 or 5-3, and Scott Laughton comes over, and he's giving Jake Muzzin shit, and he's beaking at him. And Muzzin, clear as day, goes, shut the fuck up, twice. But he's got his eyes up, and it's in this, he's just got this look on his face that says, if you don't shut your mouth, we're going to embarrass you tonight. And sure enough, snipe, Jake Muzzin to get him back in the game.
Can I ask why Jake Muzzin's become the target of panels? Jake Muzzin, who has, I think, 14 points in his last, or 15 points in his last 23 games. Are we kidding?
People don't realize, and I think we forget because it's been so long since we've... When was Toronto's last Norris nominee, even?
Oh, I don't know.
Have they had one? I can't even think of it. And I think people forget.
Jesse, our intrepid producer is going to find out.
Do you know how many posters Ray Bourque is on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a defender, goalies get a little bit of a pass. Okay, it's rare that you hear, oh, you'd like to have that one back. For like a really good goalie. You rarely hear, oh, Carey Price would like to have that one back. Oh, Henrik Lundqvist would like to have that one back. Andre Vasilevsky would like to have that one back. When they get beat, it's to the credit of
Whoever beat them.
With defenders, they made a mistake. Well, of course they did. That's how it works. Now, Muzzin's yesterday was fairly blatant.
That one...
It was bad.
Yeah, you don't throw a backhanded pass up the middle of the ice. I get that. But I was
And
even
Martin
talking...
I didn't like the effort on the back check there at all.
Fair. Marta's usually good on the back check, though.
And he's usually spectacular.
So what I would say in that particular instance, that was not what I was referring to specifically. I heard last week it was like, I think even it was Bob McKenzie that said Muzzin was not the guy that they were hoping he would be. Or has not been the guy that they were hoping he would be. Well, yeah, and I just think, I watch him play, and obviously what he did against Philadelphia was great, but beyond the goals, I mean, my question would be, where the hell would they be without him? They would be sunk.
Yes.
Sunk.
They don't win the Philly game for sure. No, and we would have a larger conversation of, can the Leafs fend off the Habs? I'm serious. I'm serious. They're 8 points back. I'm serious. I'm dead ass. They'd be 6 back without him. Without that win.
Yep. I agree.
Where on earth would they be? So tonight, if I'm not mistaken, so Gauthier. Gauthier? Why did I...
He's just somebody who used to play fourth line center.
Yeah. Goat. Oh, you see? That took me a sec.
He's got flu foot, too.
Because
he's out for 2 weeks with the flu foot.
How dare you?
Sorry.
So, assuming he's out, assuming Dermott is not cleared to return, assuming Marincin is still out, the Leafs, after playing last night, roll into Buffalo with literally 0 spares on their roster. None.
You finally got what you've been hoping for? Justin Hall is getting his minutes?
Okay,
and by the way,
can we talk about how Igor Ozhiganov has lost his job to a player who literally has not played this season?
Justin Hall looks really good. And I was the one last week saying, I haven't seen it yet. There have been mistakes. Yeah,
but Ozhiganov doesn't do anything to negate the mistakes.
Agreed. Justin Hall, though, you can see constructive routes that he is taking to get the puck out of the zone. It's so frustrating watching Justin Hall and then seeing Nikita Zaitsev get 20 minutes. Because Nikita Zaitsev cannot pass.
No.
He can't. He actually objectively, watch Nikita Zaitsev the next time you're watching a game. Watch the way he breaks out of the zone. Just watch. I guarantee you.
Can't handle the puck.
9 times out of 10, it's going to be an icing. It's so... how is that possible?
I think...
How are you an NHL player that can... Because he's got the skill. Like I said, he's got the skill. The skill is there. What's going on between the ears?
I still think in a maybe third pairing role, he'd be okay.
Yeah, he'd be fine.
This isn't working. This just isn't working. And there was... People forget, there were a few glimpses when the Leafs had everybody.
Yep.
Dermott, Muzzin, Gardner, when they had everybody, where Zaitsev would play like 15 minutes or something like that.
And that was okay.
That was okay. And I think they were winning a big old bunch of those games. I seem to remember they were on a bit of a heater before this giant dump that they've taken the past few games. But listen, I thought the game against Nashville was fine.
Yeah.
Pekka Rinne, dude, that save on Tavares and then Hyman immediately after. That's a save of the year candidate. And no one's talking about it this morning because the narrative is just the Leafs suck and that's why they lost. No, dude. It's too easy. If you watch the game, it was a bit of a bore fest. Nashville controlled most of it. But it was like it was a couple real bonehead mistakes. And beyond that, it was fine. Matthews, I thought, looked fine, and I saw him getting stick. Mm-hmm. He almost scored 2 goals. Tavares almost had a couple goals. Marner.
He dangled Wayne Simmons' career in the first period.
Oh my God!
Walked right around him. It was an incredible move. You could even see Wayne like, whoa, because he's not a slouch. The guy can skate.
No, and I love the Wayne train, but like I said in the video today, he's got 1 goal since the trade. I think he was a healthy scratch for at least a game or 2, getting the Thomas Tatar treatment.
Yeah, but Peter Laviolette's also a big believer in coating the clouds. So let's take that with a grain of salt.
Well, you know,
I mean, how do you say good coaches from themselves?
Oh, I know, but what I'm saying that for is anyone lamenting, oh, why isn't he on the Leafs? No, what we need to lament a little bit more, and I hate this conversation so much. Patty's got to go to the fourth.
Oh, yeah.
You can't scratch him because you'll ruin one of the best Iron Man streaks in history. It's such a rough business, though. There's a scene in Mad Men, and I forget all the characters because I haven't watched it.
Caprice has just started watching it, so this is good. I'll understand this.
So Elizabeth Moss's character.
Right.
Peggy.
Right. Pegleg. Peggy. And what's John Hamm's character? I forget.
Don Draper.
Don Draper. So Peggy and Don are in a heated argument about something from work. And Peggy goes, "You never say thank you." And Don says, "That's what the money is for." Mm-hmm. And he says it with that righteous fury in his voice. Patty does this off the ice. He has this streak. He has that. He does this. He does that. That's what the money is for. It is a loyalty-free, business success-driven industry. Are the Leafs the best when Patty Marleau is in the lineup or not? I defended the guy for a long time. I don't know if the step is there. He did so well in the playoffs last year, and he's looked so good at times this year, I would be really hesitant taking him out of the lineup entirely.
I think there's still uses.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
maybe not the use that he's in.
Do you want Patty Marleau, if you're an opposing coach, do you want Patty Marleau going up against your fourth line?
No.
Probably not. That's not an awesome matchup.
No, plus a guy with the brain that he has in terms of hockey brain.
Absolutely.
He can out-hockey brain you, and that means a lot.
Absolutely. But you watch Trevor Moore fly.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Well, I would say the same for Connor Brown, though. And I know Connor Brown is the loving, everybody wants to target him right now. But I would say for both of them. I don't understand how Trevor Moore is only getting 8 minutes a night.
Well, because
and watching Nick Patan, I'm like, man, I'd like to see more of what you can do.
This is the funny thing. So Zaitsev, everyone's like, okay, well, they tried to move him already. They're going to try to move him again in the offseason. That'll be fine. Connor Brown should be very easy to move. And so people have all this cap anxiety, right? So they think about those two guys. Marleau, most fans are like, well, you can't. And so they just leave the situation alone. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. For now, this season, which is still a thing, in which the Leafs can still win a Stanley Cup, by the way. It's possible. Mm-hmm. You can't address any of those things. You can't trade any of them. All you can do is scratch a guy or put him in the lineup.
Or deploy him properly.
Boy. It's... God, I can't wait till they're healthy. But are they going to get that way? Mm-hmm. You can't wait. So this is where Mike Babcock, and this is not me calling for him to get fired. This is where he needs to shine. He needs to get creative in a terrible situation with his lineup in terms of injuries, illnesses, and whatnot. He has a team that hasn't started well out of the gate for at least 2 years. Show us why you're the highest paid coach in the league. We need some magic. Whatever Gerard Gallant did with Vegas, whatever Barry Trotz is doing with the Islanders, except for last night, we need some magic, Mike. I said that on purpose.
What if Patty Marleau steps up his game in the playoffs because he knows the playoffs and he plays a little extra harder? Is that not what you expect from him?
It is exactly what I expect for him, which is why I would never scratch him. Let me just say that. I would, in the coach's shoes, never scratch him.
Or even demote him.
I demote him. Or platoon them, because there were times last game where Moore and Marleau were switched. Mm-hmm. I would think Marleau, at this stage in his career, has no ego. I would think he'd give the reins to the kid, let Babcock do his thing. And in the playoffs, yes, I would absolutely expect him to step up. He's earned that benefit of the doubt from Leafs fans, I think. There's still home ice advantage to play for. The playoffs start now. They're now.
Yeah. Also, to just answer the question from before, the closest Norris Trophy finalist that I could find from the Leafs was Borja Salming in 1980, who finished second in Northwood.
Wow. Shame he never got one.
Wait, I think I know who won.
Denny Potvin.
1980, I don't know.
Had to be Denny Potvin.
I think it was Randy Carlyle.
No, that was Larry Robinson's year.
Oh,
What?
wow.
1980-81 was Carlisle's year. Yeah. Who won it for the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Yes, he did.
And didn't they trade him that season?
I think so.
Yeah, mid-season or something.
He ended up in the Leafs like a year later, I think.
No,
Yeah.
the year before, wasn't it?
Oh, was it the year before?
It might have been, yeah, I think it was the year before.
Jeez, who knows?
I can tell you.
I feel like I did a trade tree that had him involved. I can't
Now, he
remember.
played for the Leafs in the 78 season, and then wins the Norris in the 80 season. So they traded him the mid-season there, the 78, 79 season.
I've been holding on to something since
Off-season.
headlines on Saturday night when I was high on my Tylenol daytime medication.
Chris Johnston,
Listen
who
to
had
Chris.
antlers and his eyes were glowing, said,
But I'm not going to get to that yet because Elliot Friedman just posted 31 thoughts, and I think it's important because he kicks it off with the Babcock-Dubas relationship.
oh, well, that's Elliot Reed in the room, man. It's what people are talking about.
So this is the quote from yesterday that we're going to start with. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. I encourage you to read 31 thoughts. But I do want you to take a piece of this because this is important and relevant to the conversation. Babcock said this: you're supposed to build the best program you can so you don't miss people. If you have enough, you don't miss a beat and you just keep going. There's other teams that have done a better job when different players are out than we have of keeping on going. That just tells you what state we're at, and you just got to keep adding better players. So a lot of people were, frustrated by that quote.
Yeah.
And he also went on to say,
It's a bad read.
they're a good team, they're a deep team, and this is him saying this about the Predators, and they're deep enough that they don't have to overplay their players. And a lot of people on Leafs Twitter get upset when he talks about that because
He doesn't overplay any
Anyone.
of his forwards.
dude, I wish he would overplay. He overplays the bad people.
Yes. Yes.
If you're guilty of overplaying anybody, it's the players with no skill, Mike.
Yes.
Now, here's what Elliot says. Babcock is afraid to challenge. Excuse me. He didn't write cough cough. Since arriving in Toronto, owner of the richest contract in NHL history, he's challenged players, evaluators, executives, and himself. That's who he is. He grinds and grinds and grinds some more. Dubas' ascension brought a new perspective. He may not be as outwardly passionate as Babcock, but do not underestimate his commitment to his path. I'm not talking about analytics, but valuing different players. He believes in those who have come through the Marlies. Several who developed there or should be important members of the core for years to come. We also know that Dubas, whether at OHL Sault Ste. Marie or AHL Toronto or now with the Maple Leafs, believes his team should strive to win in a certain way. It's right out of it's out of Pep Confidential. It's a book, I guess. Real satisfaction comes when you start to feel the team is really playing the kind of football you want. That it's your team.
Right.
But that's not Babcock's vision. They did not agree on the backup goalie choice. The GM did not just want Justin Hall lost on waivers, but until injuries forced it, the defenseman couldn't get into the lineup. The coach clearly is uncomfortable with the smallish fourth line, and he had a jaw-dropping quote, and that's interesting to say. This is interesting. Elliot Friedman called this quote jaw-dropping, and had a jaw-dropping quote about the Jake Muzzin trade, noting his then roster had 5 left-handed shots, saying, it's not perfect, it's what we got, it's what was available, and we're going to make it work. Blue line injuries and Freddie Anderson merely looking human has exasperated everything. It's tense, the playoffs are coming. You know what it reminds me of? Bill Parcells in 1997. 5 days after taking the New England Patriots to the Super Bowl, a 35-21 loss to Green Bay, he left the organization uttering the famous line, if they want you to cook the dinner, at least they ought to let you shop for some of the groceries. The focus should be on repairing the problems and focusing on the playoffs. This is too important of a time of year. Babcock is not walking away, but is anyone else wondering if this marriage is in trouble? I am wondering if this marriage is in trouble. Let me openly say that.
So
I am wondering that.
That's huge. That's huge. I think it was Heart of the Lad was recently saying that. Where was it going? He was recently saying that Babs has a lot of quotes that float out on Twitter that read terribly.
Oh yeah, no, and you'll listen to them and you go, oh, I understand the tone with that.
And you get the full
He's
context,
right.
and you're like, okay, that wasn't nearly as inflammatory as it seemed. The Muzzin one it's unforgivable.
I saw it.
Shut your mouth. I don't care who you are. Jesse, you
Telling him
cannot
to
make.
shut his mouth is a big extreme.
No.
If
it's
I'm
not.
Kyle Dubas,
That's his job.
Yeah?
That's his job, man.
Yeah.
That is his job. You listen.
I scream it in his face if I'm Kyle Dubas.
Why are you shooting off to the press about that? If you really want to solve the problem, if this is really an issue for you, you have the conversation with Kyle and you shut up.
Okay.
Kyle Dubas is Mike Babcock's boss.
Yeah.
And Mike Babcock, quite frankly, has to remember that.
Yeah. Well, remember.
Not that he cares, he's going to get his money anyway.
What if he doesn't look at the relationship like that? What if he looks at it as
then the tail's wagging the dog.
We do different roles within the organization that are on a same level of importance to this team's success.
What if a gazelle doesn't view itself as different from a lion?
But because
Dubas can eat him.
Yeah, I
Dubas
just
can
see,
eat him.
If
like
it's
his game to game impact on the team is greater or at least equal to Dubas's. So,
sure, but here's what I would say to that.
Yeah.
If Kyle Dubas ever gets fired, it's going to be a Brendan Shanahan decision. If Mike Babcock ever gets fired, it's going to be a Dubas and Shanahan decision.
Sure.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there is a hierarchy. And there's a reason for that, because the coach's job is to coach the players that are there. The GM's job is to bring those players in and to make sure the contracts and everything, it all works. I would say, if you have a disagreement with your boss about something, fine. But you're really going to complain about Jake Muzzin coming in because he's got a left-handed shot? Are you not enough of a coach? And I'm a fan of Mike Babcock. But are you not enough of a coach to overcome that obstacle with Jake Muzzin, who cost you a low first, a previous first-round pick, and a guy who's going to top out as a third liner?
Yeah,
no, two second round.
2 seconds?
Yeah, the quote?
Jersey and Grunstrom.
Do you have the quote to read back?
Sorry. The quote is
the Muzzin one.
Yeah. Let me just pull it up here. It was. Give me a sec. I'm just pulling it up here.
Yeah, no worries.
It's not perfect. It's what we got. It was what was available, and we're going to make it work. And I remember seeing it and going, oh.
Wait a sec.
Yeah. I remember seeing him. And that reads like it sounded.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that. And I understand where you're coming from, Jess. I totally get it.
No.
And I think it's a fair point. My sense of it is that there's some real friction here, and I think it started when the backup goalie thing happened. And I think that there is a bit of a see I told you so going on.
Right.
See, I told you made... Now, Steve, you made a really good point in one of the last podcasts, and we were both shaking our heads at this. When Steve said, I'm convinced the Garrett Sparks move was the right move at the time, it just hasn't worked out.
It was the right move in theory.
In theory. It just didn't work
in
out.
In practice, it's been awful.
And that happens.
I'll admit it.
And that happens. Yep. Garrett Sparks is just... I thought he had a good start to his last game. I thought it was a good start. Just didn't end well. It's a shame because you know that they're both extremely passionate and extremely talented people. But I have wondered for about half a season now. Last year you could see it with when Matt Martin was pulled out of the lineup. You could say, okay, well, all right, now he's getting it. Yeah. I keep thinking he's going to get it, and I don't think he gets it. I don't think Mike gets where this is going. I don't think it squares with his hockey brain. And Mike wants a different sort of player on those lines. How else can you actually go out and I'll use Riley and Hainsey as a perfect example of Mike Babcock and his stubbornness. Patrick Marleau playing with Matthews half the season.
Yeah.
The fact that Riley and Hainsey just last night alone were 30% possession.
They were awful.
And guess what? That's their average. That's how they normally do.
Now wait though, because people are saying try out something different with Riley Hainsey. Right now, what would you do?
Oh man,
in terms of
Riley Hainsey,
I don't have an answer.
I don't have an answer for that either. I get
answer. Like
I
last
get that.
night,
There's no Callie Rosen. I get it.
Yeah,
but
you can do Riley Muzzin, and I think in a lot of situations you should, and maybe every third or fourth shift you do that, and they end up playing 25, 26 minutes in this situation. Boy, the depth isn't there, man. It's not at the moment. Dermott comes back, I think it makes a huge difference.
Yep.
Because then you put him with one of Riley or Muzzin, solves a lot of things. Gardner comes back, laughing. I think you look so much better. You have a great chance to win. Right now, people are talking about experimenting. I've seen people go, well, what about like 7D? No, well, how about 5?
Yeah.
How about 5 and you go with more forward? Go with 5 lines. Go with 3D. Dude, they're bad. They're so bad.
Well. So
do the power play at 5-on-5. Do 4 forwards, 1D.
So this brings me to the thing that I've been holding on since Saturday night. And I can barely remember anything from Saturday night, but I remembered this vividly. So the rumor was, first off, there was news. The Leafs are closing in on an extension with Sheldon Keefe, which to me was surprising because I would have thought Sheldon Keefe would have been hired for an NHL job by now. But what the Leafs have done is that they're going to obnoxiously overpay what the market rate is for an AHL coach because they want to keep him. And he likes it here, so he'll take the pay.
The Leafs aren't going to lose anyone they don't want to lose.
Now, DJ Smith, a couple years ago, I believe it was the Ottawa Senators came calling and asked about DJ Smith. DJ Smith runs the Leafs defense and their penalty kill. And DJ Smith could be up for any number of jobs this summer, and the thinking is his contract's up, the Leafs won't be able to protect him, won't be able to turn teams down. The thinking is he may get hired as a head coach somewhere. I want to throw this out there. What I see happening here is Sheldon Keefe is on the Leafs staff next year. And if Sheldon Keefe is not on the Leafs staff next year as the assistant coach, he's on the Leafs staff next year as the head coach. Now, I don't think Mike, as I said to you last episode, I think Mike Babcock is absolutely, you can't argue, they're 6th in the league, okay? This is a guy, you can't actually go and say, all right, guys, listen, we got to 6th in the league, which is better than we've done 99.9% of this team's 102-year existence. But we're going to get rid of the head coach now. That is not an argument that you can make. But another year of this, and I can guarantee you, Mike Babcock is as good as gone.
He might just be the wrong guy to manage these group of players. Exactly.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's he might have been the right guy for the first 3.5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, coaching it's a funny thing because I think coaches, like players, have a difficult time adapting.
Sure. It's hard
John
to change.
Tortorella, actually, he's not the greatest example because Columbus has done very well. Randy Carlyle won a Stanley Cup in 2007 because I think Randy Carlyle could win a Stanley Cup in 2007. I just don't think it's a thing that can happen now. Mike Babcock, Stanley Cup in 2008, Stanley Cup final in 2009.
It was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And the group of guys that played in Detroit were a bunch of veterans.
Yeah.
And who played a different style of game.
Yeah.
It's a different game. That was 2 games ago. You know what I mean? That was 2 styles of NHL ago.
Yeah.
So I guess my frustration is that DJ Smith runs the things that are ailing the Leafs right now. And I don't know if it's a directive from Mike Babcock, but let's be honest. The defense hasn't looked good for the entire time he's been here.
Nope. No. Well, and who was it tweeted? It's actually in terms of like Corsi against or whatever per 60. It's getting worse.
Well, then that I don't understand. I don't know how they don't make a change now. Like, I mean, he's got to go. Yeah. If your defense is that bad, and it is on such a great team, let's be honest, the goal scoring's carried them. So
yeah,
I don't. What exactly do you do here?
Like the answer is not throw a free agent at it. You know what I mean? I just don't believe the idea that this Leafs team isn't skilled enough to win a round, even against the Bruins. Even against the Bruins, healthy, they're too good. And injured, they're too good to play the way they've played the past few games. I just don't believe it.
I mean, that's fair. I just think they're going to have to do a full change here. It's got to be a change in I think, you know what's funny is that the way the Leafs have played recently is sort of just rewards for what they got away with the rest of this season. And what's scary is that most of what I've read and seen is most of Leafs Nation is sort of looking at like, hey, let's look at the offseason now. Like, that's the scary part.
Guys, let's stop. Let's stop. The playoffs are so dumb, and so much can happen. Dude, how do you think Islanders fans are feeling? A couple of weeks ago, they were on cloud 9. They just got curb stomped 5-0 by the Bruins on home ice, and Val Filppula's out 4 weeks.
Noted valuable member of their team, Val Filppula.
Exactly. That's how quickly it changes. Wow, that's a bad signing. Wow, we're having an amazing season. Wow, he's injured.
Yeah.
Wow, we're first place. Wow, we're getting slowly but surely chased into third. Changes quickly, man. The playoffs are so goofy. Wow. Tampa is just going to... No, sorry, forget Tampa. Columbus is going to run away with this series against Washington. Oh, Columbus is going to sweep Washington, and their window's closed, and they're never going to win. And then Washington goes to the third round. Oh, sorry, second round. They vanquished the Penguins finally. Third round. Tampa's going to stomp them in 6. Shutout. Vegas made it to the Stanley Cup final. It's a goofy little league.
Yeah, have a little faith.
9 regular season games left. And 16 to 28 games in the playoffs. 28 would be a record.
Now, when you look around the rest of the NHL, what stands out to you?
No one, except for Tampa, is running away with it. Every team, I think, feels exactly as insecure as the Leafs do.
We talked to, briefly, Kevin Harris. Kevin, who was the guy who graciously hosted us and made the bet if the Predators made the Cup final, and he would give us the tickets, and he did, and God bless that man.
One of my favorite people on earth.
Yes. And
For that moment.
He was at the game last night, and as soon as the Predators went on the power play, I'm like, oh, you guys will enjoy this. He's like, oh, probably not. Because they have their own gripes with their own coach, Peter Laviolette. As I mentioned, Cody McLeod, that was a direct quote from Kevin. And I wonder if we are, because it's Toronto, because we're so insular.
Yeah.
Like, do you think Columbus is not absolutely... Like, if 4 or 5 media members in Columbus are not freaking out right now, like, imagine Columbus's situation was Toronto's situation. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, the Leafs get so much coverage. It works both ways, man. What do you think they've been talking about for the past couple of weeks? How good they are? Come on, the sky's falling. That's all that's being talked about. They're dumping on Jake Muzzin.
Yeah. Which is ballsy, by the way. You're dumping on a guy who's objectively good by any metric.
And who, by the way, has now gotten both ends of the Eastern bias spectrum. There's the don't watch him enough, so I just agree that he's great, and now watch him too much and agree that he's bad. I'm exaggerating a little bit.
That's sort of how it works.
It's sort of how it works.
Yep.
It's such a common story. Guy plays for a Western team that doesn't get a ton of coverage, comes eastward, all of a sudden he's not so good anymore.
He's got flaws. Imagine.
He hasn't gelled with the team yet.
Right.
Is that it? No, it's that you weren't watching closely enough, man.
Well, I also think Jake Muzzin's actually a very good hockey player.
Yes, that too.
I do want to shout out Dave Poulin. I knew he was going to do this. So last night on the broadcast, Dave Poulin said that the most important defenseman for the Leafs going into the playoffs, it was obviously all the top 4s. You have Riley, Zaitsev, Muzzin, Dermott. Who is the most important defenseman? Everybody, to a man, should have picked Morgan Riley. Because that is the key. But I'll give Dave Poulin credit for this. He said Nikita Zaitsev because he said this guy has to improve.
Yeah.
If he improves...
Yes. Interesting response.
Right.
I'll give him that.
So people obviously screen grabbed him and then threw it on Twitter
Which
and
is
roasted
unfair.
him. Unfair, because he had actually a nuanced take.
There was like minutes, or not minutes, but like a minute where he's talking about what he said. It's not just that.
It's okay. I can't believe I have to come to Dave Poulin's defense. Yeah. No, that's wrong, man. It's wrong that he was dumped on for that. We've had the exact same conversation on this show.
Yeah.
And it went something like, if Zaitsev doesn't suck, they'll be fine.
It fixes so many things.
If he played like he did in his rookie season. Yeah. Direct quote from Dave Poulin, which we have said on this show.
You know what's not good television? You know, if the least good players play good,
they'll be good.
They'll be good. But if the least bad players play bad, they might continue to be bad. No. If Riley or Muzzin start to stink, they're sunk. If Justin Hall or Nikita Zaitsev turn into Paul Coffey, they got a shot.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Like, it's... Dude, what could the Leafs use right now, barring doing a magic spell and healing someone's wounds or making them feel better? What would make the current Leafs roster better right now than Nikita Zaitsev playing better?
Because you can't go out and get a guy at this point of the season.
Yeah.
So one of your other guys got to step up.
Yep.
It's a good response.
Now, in defense of some other people, they might go, well, there are now at least a couple hundred games or so that show that that's just not going to happen. And that's fine. But that's also, it's just not as fun to say.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
if he steps it up, and he's another guy. Oh, poor Adam.
Sorry, guys.
He's a guy who, sort of like Bozak, who we dumped on for this, has all these tools, these skills. It's putting them together that's been such a problem.
Not everybody can.
No, there was oh God, I can't remember which awful game it was, but there was a goal where the Leafs were still in it. Nylander has got no one near him, and he's streaking, and he might have a breakaway. Zaitsev puts it nowhere near him. It was the Flyers game. Nowhere near him. They ice the puck, comes back the other way. Matthews gets his clock clean in the face-off circle, and the Flyers score. And the conversation is another goal off of face-off. Matthews hasn't done well in that department. The Flyers are the best face-off team in the league. Why was there a face-off? I am less concerned with Matthews losing a face-off in the defensive zone,
And Nylander losing a puck battle.
Like, Bergeron wins, I think, 65% of his face-offs or something monstrous like that, which means he loses 35% of his face-offs. You do 100, he's going to lose 35. If I say, hey, when you cross the street, there's a 35 out of 100 chance you're going to get run over. Are you going to cross the street?
No, you're not gonna cross the street.
Face-offs are largely a crapshoot. Like, forget Bergeron. If you get 55, you're considered very good. I'm less concerned with him losing a couple face-offs and more concerned with, God can't make a pass out of his zone. Talk about Zaitsev, not Matthews now. I'm so much more concerned with that. It's gotten to the point where I'd rather have Hall in that position.
Well, Hall, as I've said, he's made constructive. If you watch the way he does it, he makes constructive breakout passes. You'll see him look, you'll see him think, and it's great.
Well, he's not good in his own end. Well, how about Zaitsev, who's good in neither? What? Like, I'm just being honest here.
That was funny.
Yeah, it's not though.
Before anyone corrects you, Patrice Bergeron's highest face-off percentage in a season was 62.1%.
Oh, man.
What's he at right now?
56.9.
So it's less.
Yeah. So
You got
it
a-
helps your point.
44 out of 100.
Also-
Man, I'll stay inside.
The Leafs,
Won't get hit by
evidently,
that car.
No.
I don't buy the Matthews not good in the face-off zone thing because the Leafs.
It
are
was
like
one
this-
game.
The Leafs are the second best face-off team in the league.
Against the best one. And best is better than second best, which is why they
But
lost.
the package
they
of
didn't
them
lose.
getting scored on off the face-off was interesting in the league.
Sure.
It was, and I think that's another, I think it's similar to this streak. Is it just coincidental?
It might be.
I think it might just be coincidental.
Yeah.
They've put together a few real stinkers in a row, and they got scored on off the face-off twice in one game. How often does that happen? How often does it happen once? Not often. I'm not worried about it.
51.9% for Austin Matthews.
God, can they... Let's just cut to the chase and be fans. Can they beat the frickin' Sabres tonight, man? Can we stop? Can Garrett Sparks pitch a 50-save shutout where the Leafs somehow get 75 shots so we're not talking about how they got outshot? Like, just perfect world this. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of all this. So is Adam. He's dying.
My health might not hold up much longer, gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie.
That's okay.
I might be losing my voice here. So let's leave it there
Sure.
because I think we've fully explored the Leaf issue. At least as far as we can get today.
And it's fun that there's another game tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not as much. We are going to be
for
back
you.
Friday. Any audio issues that we would have had on this show, if there are any afterwards, we'll have sorted out by Friday. But I don't think they'll be too bad. And I will also probably hack and cough less, which I think that will be the benefit of everybody.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
You went from slight lean off of the mic to I'm just going to turn around and face the wall.
Well, because it's getting worse. I don't know why. And I think it's because
you're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, go home.
So, let's do the press conference, shall we?
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Can I just hot take it before Jesse picks up a question here?
Oh, yeah.
Hot take. This will be one of the biggest changes in talent this summer the Leafs have ever seen.
This is going to be
enormous summer.
Goofy summer.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Goofy summer because Tavares. Why am I more excited for like goofy little under $1 million contracts that turn into gems than I am for like the biggest free agent in history?
I think because Tavares has done everything you would hope. For Tavares, it was score 40 goals. Well, that's sort of what we expect. I mean, it's a little more than what we would have expected, to be honest. He's never done that before. But you're playing with Marner, where you're playing on a really good team for the first time ever. Like, this is great.
Yeah. Imagine thinking this is Tavares' fault.
Do people think that?
No, they don't.
No, I don't think so.
And by the way, one Twitter account is not people.
Yeah, just like one Twitter account is not entire fan base.
It's person, and they might even be kidding.
Oh, by the way, I saw that tweet about, what was it? Somebody called, and I'm just going to say what was said in the tweet, okay? Somebody from New York apparently called Tavares, and I apologize for this, okay? The autism boy.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So that tweet was taken and then reposted, and you see how classless New York fans are, and this is... No. A, that probably didn't come from a real person. B, do you really think that represents every New York Islanders fan? It's like the phony tweets that I told you about a couple episodes ago with the Leafs fan who was excited about how the Twin Towers were hit.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Come on. What do you... and the worst part is that it gets tweeted at us. I'm like, what do you guys think of this? Nothing. I don't think anything of it because it's not a real person.
I didn't want to be rude, and like I like joking with people, but someone sent me a really super over the top inflammatory tweet, and what do you think about, or do you have any thoughts on this? And I just responded, nope.
Chances are it's not a real person, guys.
Yeah,
those tweets are sent out there to piss you off.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
You seen the troll episode of South Park? Even if it's not some Russian troll farm, it's some guy in his room going, I bet I can piss some people off today. This will be fun.
Mm-hmm.
People love that.
Yeah.
They love to get a reaction. So leave it alone. Leave it alone. Anyway, that was my rant. Sorry.
The most interesting thread from the Steve Dangle podcast Reddit this week.
Thread it.
Steve, your book stinks. I got your book from pre-order today, and it stinks. No, literally. The book smells like feet. I'm enjoying reading the book, but my wife won't sit next to me when I read it.
Interesting.
Is anyone else experiencing this? I've been watching you since your 2008 playoff predictions, and I am proud of you. It is great to see success come to the nice people who have busted their asses. That's from Mountaineer 3615.
Now let's play a game called Serious or Trolling. I don't know, because it's weird. I've gotten 2 comments on how the book smell now.
I think it might be a thing.
One was very negative. The other was extremely positive. They're like, I love the way your book smells. It smells great. I keep sniffing it while I'm reading it. I just hope the words are good. Why use lot word when, anyway. What's number 2?
What's the most chaotic / funniest Final Four that could happen this season?
Ooh.
That's from Ruli711. Take a look at the standings, boys.
What's...
I'm thinking here.
Leafs Islanders.
Ooh. See, that's not chaotic, though. That's... Or is it?
Pretty chaotic.
That's a safety hazard right there.
It's pretty chaotic.
Leafs Montreal. Like, you go that route.
I don't know if that's chaotic, though.
Okay. I'm trying to think of all the good teams that have been surrounded by utter chaos. Okay? The Blue Jackets.
Mm-hmm.
That's chaotic.
Yeah.
I mean, what's more chaotic than the Leafs on any given day? Right? So Blue Jackets, Leafs.
And then I'm going to say this. Dallas and either Vegas or Arizona
Ooh.
in the West.
Ooh.
Outside on the East, a Carolina Columbus.
Ooh, that would be a
Carolina Columbus might beat Leafs Columbus. But
man.
unfortunately, that can't happen because of the divisions.
Carolina.
Or
No,
there's-
they could be both wild cards.
Yeah,
That's right.
They are
Yeah.
both wild cards.
Yeah. They could come out together.
Okay, so yeah, forget rules.
Yeah. who cares? They could all place differently.
Columbus, Carolina, or Columbus, Toronto. Columbus for sure. Ooh, but the Storm Surge, they do a Storm Surge with the Stanley Cup. Okay, so Carolina's number 1. Columbus is number 2. Leafs are number 3.
And Don Cherry
In
has
the
to
East.
sit there and watch them storm surge with the cup.
Yes.
Bunch of jerks.
Vegas again would be crazy.
I kind of want to say the entire Pacific Division because San Jose is this team that San Jose and Calgary are essentially the same. They're both such good hockey teams with completely undependable goaltending.
You don't like Martin Jones?
He's been awful this year, and it's weird. Go look at his numbers. His numbers this year look nothing like the rest of his career. He's like under 900 or something like that. It's crazy. They haven't been getting goaltending all year.
Martin Jones currently sits at A. Oh, that's his Corsi. That doesn't make sense.
What?
Extra stats. Why don't you give me his normal stats? 1 second. I'll fix this.
NHL.com is good for like just the simple.
Here we go. He's sitting at an 898. Oh, gosh.
Right? In how many games?
56 starts. Last year, he was a 915.
And last I checked, he was second in the league in wins. Which
He's got 34 wins.
Yeah, so like you know how we were talking about like Louis Domingue and like look at his save percentage versus look at his record? Well, that's Tampa's backup goalie. This is San Jose's starter.
Yeah.
And he's got I believe he has a track record of performing well in the playoffs. So if Martin Jones turns it on, San Jose is absolutely a contender. But Calgary's in the exact same boat.
Well, it's funny with Martin Jones being as not Martin Jones as he's been because they're still first or second in the division every time.
I know.
All year long, except for the beginning of the season.
And
Crazy.
then, yeah, Vegas is just chaos.
Yeah.
I want to see Vegas, Carolina in the final, Storm Surge versus whatever you call the Vegas stuff, versus Surge versus the Strip. Like they do with the crazy night at the beginning of every game, the Golden Knights against the Storm Surge. How will the Knights weather the storm? I want to see the pregame for Vegas, and I want to see the postgame for Carolina. That to me is the most chaotic.
I like that.
Who currently sitting outside of a playoff spot are you rooting for to sneak in? One team in the East and one team in the West.
Currently sitting outside.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
me, it's Chicago.
Boo.
Nah.
No.
4 points back. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, cheer for Goliath.
Exactly.
Boo. Yeah, of course.
That's a Jesse.
Of course. Tall guy cheering for Goliath. Well, so Arizona's on the inside, right?
They
Yeah.
are.
Can't.
So I
pick
can't pick them.
them. Nope.
Yeah, my picks would have been Arizona or Columbus, but as of today, they're both in.
Yeah.
I feel like the playoffs are more fun with Montreal in them.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say cheer, but yeah, they got to
would-
be in there.
I would root for Montreal. And by
It's
the way,
it's good for the company.
I just want to throw this out there. I want to throw this. This is a complete right-hand turn, but this is just breaking news, so I want to throw this out there. Eloy Jimenez has signed a deal with the Chicago White Sox. It will be for 6 years and about $43 million. It will include a pair of club options that can max out at around $77 million, which is cool. He has yet to play a game in the MLB.
Actually,
Not played one game.
and he just got John Tavares' contract.
Yes. I just wanted to.
Oh, the
is he
NHL's so
from?
tiny.
Well, he's been playing with the Sox this season, but I guess he's their He's one of their big prospects or whatever. White Sox.
Oh.
From Derek Ray, he tagged us in that, and he's like, if this doesn't put things into perspective for Leafs young guys, nothing will.
Hockey's so tiny.
It is a very tiny little.
Hockey's so cute.
It's a little boutique sport.
Oh, you think you're a player? Oh, wow. And my other team in the West.
Well, it's you only have
Oilers.
Oilers.
I want them to make it
I'm gonna say Minnesota.
and get swept.
I'm gonna say Minnesota just for Steve, and also because they're called the Wild.
I hope the Wild play the Oilers in the first round and they sweep each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they sweep each other.
I don't know.
They both lose.
You both lose. Bettman comes out like
It's
halfway
better.
through the first period. This is awful. You're both out.
Stop. We hate you both.
You're right there?
Oh, no.
It's a John Mulaney bit. Guys, you're both terrible cereals. Sorry. Anyway.
I think that's it for today. We'll be back Friday. In better health and better recording.
Jesse and I will be back to eulogize Adam.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.